I sometimes call this card my cup runneth over, because you can see here it's emotional fulfillment. It's also actually got this dove of peace here, and it's got this Buddhist symbol of enlightenment. This is the lotus that comes through the mud. So this is a great opportunity for joy, a new passion, new creativity, new love, anything that fills your heart and makes your emotions so full that they spill over, and it gives you this feeling of fresh life, new love, new creativity, new joy. What a beautiful card to start off with, Cancer. I love that for you. And then it's followed by, this is by Chariot, which is, this card is ruled by Cancer. You can see these crescent moons here on his shoulders. He's wearing them as decoration, as well as it's on his staff here. And Chariot is a card about balancing the subconscious mind with the conscious mind, the left brain and the right brain. It's about achieving a goal because you are balanced in your decision making. You're in the flow. You know whether to go left or right. You know what you know where you want to go. This is a card of victory. It's a card of dominance. It's a card of hard control, making decisions based on your gut instincts and based on having a connection. That's what these two horses yoked together are. There's an old story of Parmenides, the Greek, who talks about these two horses being the wild side and being the tamed side, or the domesticated side of ourselves. And when we have both of those in tandem, we can really go anywhere we want. So this is good decision making, and decision making that's based on your gut instincts, your inner knowing, based on what you know, based on your inner knowing, and weighing things in a balanced way. So I love that card for you as well. There is some indecision that is showing up in that first week. These two cards together say, I don't know what I want. The reason I'm saying that is because Three of Wands has to do, I call this the visionary card. Three of Wands has to do with envisioning what you'd like to create. 3 is a naturally creative number, and in this card we see the visionary looking out on a blank surface and or sort of blank empire, and thinking about, what do I want to create? What do I want to create for myself? What do I desire? What do I want to bring forth? This is like seeing your ship come in, awaiting your supplies, dreaming of what you want to create, what you want to draw to yourself, what you want to have in your life. So when this is in the reverse position, it says you may be having some blocks towards your dreams. You may be having some blocks, or that your dreams, visions, hopes, and wishes for the future are sort of under the surface right now, that you don't have exact access to them, or there's some ways in which they're hanging out without being able to be seen clearly. Sometimes when cards are in reverse, I look at it as like a dirty window where it's not clear, like a clear pane of glass, but there's some smog, or there's some dirt or some haze where you're not seeing clearly. So I'm going to invite you to try to connect with what it is that you want to create. Try to even just ask yourself, what do I want? Because with this in reverse and with this card showing up, it's saying that this is indecision, and it's saying that I don't know what I want. I'm having a hard time deciding between this and this. I'm having a hard time. It's funny because you seem to be just fine with having decisions regarding action. Like, it seems like you're pretty clear on what you're doing day to day, or heading in a certain direction. But as far as like what your dreams are and what you want, these two cards together tell me that you may not know what you want in terms of the future. Creative dreams of what you would like to create or bring to yourself in tandem with this indecisive card. This is sort of like both of these are being like a little bit checked out. She's got this blindfold on because this is being willfully blind. And with this in the reverse position, it says you're not having direct access to what you want to dream of or what you want to create or draw to yourself. So I'm going to invite you, Cancer, at the beginning of January, especially since it's a good time for just reflection and revising and reviewing. I'm going to invite you to just put down a blank slate on like a journal page or even like a blank piece of paper and just write at the top of it, what do I want? If you could have something, like if you could just create something by waving a magic wand and having it, what would it be? Because I'm seeing that you may be kind of fuzzy in that area right now, Cancer. So see if you can shine a spotlight there and even maybe write that down on the top of a piece of paper before you go to bed at night. What do I want? What would I like to have? What would I like my life to be like? That might help you snap out of this blindness or this fogginess. So try that out, Cancer. See how that works for you. This Queen of Cups could be you, Cancer. This Queen of Cups, this is the same cup that she holds here. This is the cup of the heart. So this is someone, and you can see in this too, this crescent moon is kind of the theme here for you in January. I'm seeing it in Chariot here. This is making decisions based on intuition. Here's that crescent moon. She's looking away from the crescent moon, so not tapping into her intuition, being indecisive. This has the crescent moon here as well. She is definitely connected with her subconscious, with her inner knowing. And that's what this card is all about. You can see the crescent moon here and here. And by the way, the moon is one of your symbols, Cancer. So tapping into your subconscious and your inner knowing is featured here for January, showing up in every section of the month. So here it's showing up with Queen of Cups, which is a very intuitive, very loving, compassionate card. I kind of see her looking off into the distance. So I'm going to say it echoes this card here, but here she's right side up. So looking off into the distance saying, what do I love? What inspires me? How do I feel connected to the rest of the world? Those are words that Queen of Cups would use. And this could be any water sign. So this could be Pisces or Scorpio as well, but I really am seeing this as you, Cancer. And also she wears the pearls of wisdom. So this is like experience. So look to your experience of things that you have enjoyed, pearls of joy. She's in alignment with this joy card, with this my cup runneth over. And this is sort of like saying, well, now what else do I want to drink from? What else brings me joy? What else from my experience? Where are the other pearls that I want to find in life? I think the exercise here is going to help you get to this. So I see this as you mid-month, Cancer. And then I see you have some challenges that are going to require you to be strong, Cancer, in the middle of the month. While you're dreaming of what other things you may want to bring to yourself, I'm also seeing 5 of Coins is financial loss. You may be worried about that or have some fears about that because 5 of Coins means financial loss or feeling like left out in the cold. You can see this person has a bandage on their head and they're needing and wanting comforting. It's because they're too focused on the material world. They've forgotten about the spiritual world. So in reverse, I'm seeing resistance, fears about financial loss. And I'm also seeing that 7 of Wands is here. This is success despite adversity. So I'm seeing that you may have some fears about if you were to stand up for yourself and what you believe in and fight for what you believe in, that you may suffer some financial loss or that you may be left out in the cold. I'm going to suggest, Cancer, that you rely upon your strength. This is a card of patience and fortitude and softness. This card actually follows this card, and it's interesting, it follows it here in the spread as well. This is about hard control, and this is about soft control. This card is about the mind and mentality and making decisions, balancing the mind, left brain and right brain. This card is more about true strength and fortitude, which has to do with softness, patience. She is actually able to tame the lion, something that he can't do. She's actually able to open the jaws of the lion through patience, strength, fortitude, endurance, soft control. So I'm going to invite you to employ soft control, patience, courage, strength in whatever it is that's challenging you here, because this card does show success despite adversity. This is a card of, fear of loss, fear of financial loss specifically, but any material loss, like being left out in the cold. Maybe it's you're fearing losing your home, Cancer, which is very important to you. But this means fighting the good fight. And in this card, I like to point out that even if you're fighting off several things at once or several people, you're in an advantageous position. It may not feel like that, but you could also see this card as a card of leadership, leading others in the fight. So employ strength, Cancer. It's showing up for you. You can connect to it. It's just going to require, you guys can be very tenacious. That's the image of that crab claw. When you grab onto something, say if it's a belief or defending yourself, you're able to latch on and hold on for dear life. So use that strength here, but not in a forcible way, but in a soft, persevering, enduring, fortitude sort of way. So that's my message to you in the middle of the month. You can do it. You may not see that you can do it, but that's what you need to do to confront any fears about loss, especially material loss. Then at the end of the month, Cancer, I see you've got 2 of Coins, High Priestess, 5 of Cups, and then 5 of Swords. So something's going to be changing for you at the end of the month. Fives are a number of transition. It's sort of like instability and chaos that allows the next level of order and harmony to come in. When we go from 4, that's rigidity, stability. 5 is change, transformation, chaos, things being disrupted, thrown up in the air so that new order can come in, which is 6 energy. So I'm going to talk about this first, and then I'll talk about this. 2 of Coins is negotiation. This is joint finances. This is communication. This means maybe just having your resources stretched thin, and sometimes like borrowing from Peter to pay Paul, having just enough to cover your bases. And so it can be stressful in that way, like feeling like you have to juggle things. But the high side of this card is flexibility and fun. So one side of the juggler is, oh gosh, I feel off balance. I'm on one foot. I've got all these balls in the air. I've got to juggle them. I've got to, manage this. It's stressful. It's anxious. When you bring comedy and fun and humor into the mix, Cancer, it turns into, oh, I'm the juggler. Watch, I can keep all these balls in the air. And not only that, I can do it on one foot. And it's fun. Watch me do it. This is entertainment. So try to adopt a sense towards the end of January of flexibility and fun. That's really going to bring out the best side of this 2 of Coins energy that's showing up for you. And it may be a good time to negotiate contracts, to sign anything that's related to joint finances. This first part of the month is not going to be a good time to do that. This is when it's going to be good, towards the end of January, because you'll have an inner knowing and an inner instinct about it. This is High Priestess, which is also, by the way, balancing of, this black and this white. I don't know if you can see that on the card here, but there's 2 pillars that she's sitting between, and those are actually the pillars that hold up King Solomon's temple. The King Solomon was known for his wisdom, knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, and she's right there soaking it all in. So it's a balance between the dark and the light, just like, funny enough, echoed here. This is that too. We see the dark horse corresponding to this dark column, the light horse corresponding to this light column, and these crescent moons, Cancer, that are one of your symbols about tapping into your subconscious. So I'm going to suggest making a decision by getting quiet and tapping into your inner knowing, especially as it comes to joint finances or anything where there's money being exchanged, communications about money, contracts, anything to do with that. Tap into your inner knowing. Tap into your gut feeling about it, because Cancer. That's what High Priestess is all about. She's about getting quiet, going within, listening, to your inner knowing. So especially as it relates to any sort of exchange of money, joint finances, responsibilities having to do with money, you'll know on a gut level what's right and what's not. And then change is happening at the end of January, Cancer. This is Five of Cups, which has to do with some sort of emotional loss, grief. You can see these cups spilled here, which may have to do with loss of a person, loss of a relationship, saying goodbye to something. One of the messages of this card is to allow yourself to go through this grief, to acknowledge it, to experience it, but to also realize that not all love is lost. If you turn around, when you're ready, Cancer, to turn around, you'll see that there's still love available to you here. There's still emotional fulfillment. Even if it means letting go and acknowledging the loss of something, there's still love available if you turn around, when you're ready to turn around and face it. And this too, Five of Swords too says that there's something to acknowledge, the loss of. There's change happening. The sun has set on something, but there's something to be gained from this. There's wisdom and understanding, ideas. The swords represent thoughts, ideas, insights, knowledge, and through looking at what the sun has set on, there's wisdom and insight to be gained from that, Cancer. You may be resistant to see it. You may not be able to see it at first glance because this is in reverse. So there's sort of doubts, fears, resistance towards seeing the benefit or the treasures of what has ended, what's remaining on the battlefield. There's some insights here. There's some lessons to be learned from this. There's some knowledge and wisdom, understanding to be collected from whatever this loss is. You just need to get quiet and look for those things. There's a silver lining to every gray cloud is what this says, but you may not necessarily want to see it, but it's there. So change towards the end of the month, especially relating to emotional losses or moving on from something.